Blessings, everyone, and welcome. This is the Activate Evolution podcast, and this is our Ask Jules episode. So it is a live episode where we have our beautiful community and that are here just participating, and we will open it up to question and answer here in just a little bit. So today we are going to talk about manifesting in what I would call it the new paradigm, or manifesting through DNA intelligence, and how that is different. And then we're going to actually do a DMT activation, and that's either divine molecular technology or decoded molecular technology. Just pick the one that resonates with you more. But really what we're talking about are very specific codes that are in the DNA that are ready to activate or awaken, that hold an intelligence that we all will one day have the experience of becoming. And until then, we use consciousness to attune to this intelligence and use this intelligence through our own bodies. So a lot of times when we're talking about moving into higher consciousness, we think of leaving our bodies and going somewhere outside of the body. And what we're doing is we're actually turning on these DMT codes through the DNA, and we're letting the body hold the frequency pattern, becoming the advanced human. And then our consciousness actually will catch up with that, because we are in an innate level the most advanced technology that there is. And our body is a big part of that advancement. Our body has hundreds and thousands of electric responses that we are not using at this time. And when we do these DMT activations, what we're doing is we're intentionally allowing this intelligence to move out of the DNA and click into these electric responses. A lot of times you'll hear electric responses of the brain. Well, we're talking about electric responses of the body. Just like the brain, they're kind of like synapse responses where they're going to start to click together. And once they do that, they create pathways that are holding information. And that information is what we're going to activate through this DMT activation, and allowing that intelligence to move into these electric responses, creating a system or a technology. It is an organic technology that we are all becoming. It becomes our Google system, except for when we're Googling through our own technology, we're tapping into an intelligence that's beyond the matrix, the old paradigm, programmed reality, whatever word you want to put there. But what our own experience of that will be is that we start to tap into an intelligence beyond our programming. So when we're looking at manifesting, the very first thing that we want to do is know where we're manifesting from. Are we manifesting through our programming, or are we manifesting through this intelligence? And an easy way to know is that what if what you are wanting to manifest is based in a primal response of wanting to feel safe? And an example of that would be, I want to manifest $100,000 so that I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about suffering. That would be manifesting from primal response. When we start to move into these higher levels of consciousness, we start to manifest from a different place. And what that feels like is we get a hit, or some of you call it uploads or downloads. We get information that is kind of just comes to us, and we're not really sure where it came from. And so it may be, go do this, or have something creativity come through us. So it's a creation that comes through us, and we're told to go put it into form. That would be another way of manifesting through an intelligence beyond our programming. So as you all are sitting here thinking about, well, what am I going to add into this place of manifesting? What is my intention going to be? And what I want you to do is just take a moment, and instead of asking from your mind, ask from your heart space. or ask from a place beyond your programming, and just notice if something comes in. There's no right or wrong. We can use intention, and we can use intention through our programming, knowing that once we make the intention, we want to let it go. I call it having a soft intention. And so if it is that I want to manifest this much money, what I would have you do is look at, if I had that money, what would my life be like? What is the money actually bringing me? That would be the next step of taking it out of programming, because at least you're not just keeping it in a space of, I have all this money, then I'll be safe and I won't have to worry about anything. Or, oh, if I have this job and I only work 5 hours a week and I never have to talk to people, then I won't have to do this. Like, if there's like a then I won't have this, or then I'll have this after it, look at what that part is. So if I have $1 million, then I'll feel free. Okay. A lot of us feel that way. And then I'll get to do what my heart really wants to do, right? How many times if we just had a job that had all this money, then I would be able to focus on the things I want to focus on. So when we're having that kind of space, what we really want to be looking at is the part that comes after the money. And that's really what our intention is. So if I have $1 million, then I'll feel free. So what you're wanting to manifest is freedom. And then whatever freedom is, through the intelligence of that divine frequency, that's what's going to start to show up in your life. And then the money will probably come later, or because it's not going to be the other way around. So knowing where we're manifesting from is a huge space. But I'm going to go back into that feeling of freedom, because freedom is a state of being, right? I want to feel free. But if we look at freedom through an emotion, then we know that what we're wanting is to feed that primal response again. Meaning, if I feel free, I don't have to feel fear. If I feel free, then I don't have to feel anxiety. If I feel free, I don't have to feel trapped. You can kind of look at it like that way. And now just take a moment to ask yourself, okay, here goes the $1 million. So I can feel free. What is it that I'm not wanting to feel? And just looking at that, just looking at it straight on. What am I trying to bypass in order to feel free? Once we know what that is, then we know where our programming is playing out in our intention. And that's okay. It's okay. But at least you're conscious about what it is that you're wanting to manifest and why. So that why is what you don't want to feel. So once we have that, what do we do with it? Well, first thing we do is we look at it and we know that is the part of me that is hooking in to the illusion that if I have this, I don't have to have this. Anytime that we are judging something as good or bad, we know we're in our programming. We know that we are in the illusion of programming. And that's okay too. All we're doing right now is we are showing that there is a lot of consciousness in our choices. And when we can start to create choices that are based in feeling over emotion, we have taken a huge step up in consciousness. What I call that is going from the chemical body to the advanced human. And yes, there's going to be some different steps in between. But when we learn to actually choose and take action through an advanced state of being, meaning that we are feeling, it's a knowing versus an emotional response, we are going to start to manifest in ways that we didn't even think possible. Because when we're doing that, we're not manifesting through our programming. We're not manifesting through our triggers, and we're not manifesting because we don't want to feel something or we do want to feel something. And when I'm talking about feeling right now, I'm talking about emotion. I'm talking about the chemical body. We're talking about dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all of the, and the one that a lot of us get stuck in is dopamine. And I want to talk about that just for one moment before we move on. Dopamine is that it's the addictive chemical response in our body. It's the quick fix. It's, I want energy, so I'm going to go eat some candy. Or I want to feel calm, so I'm going to eat a whole chocolate cake. I want to feel worthy of something, so I'm going to go spend $500 that I don't have. And we're getting that chemical high over choosing something. That is dopamine. That chemical is the strongest chemical connected to the primal brain. It is one that if we get too stuck in it, and those that are addicted to something are stuck in the reptile brain. When we take dopamine and we learn to create choices that we know that we have to put in effort over time, right? So we're not necessarily looking for the quick fix, but we're doing something to create happiness over time, and we're creating our choices around that. That's when we start to release serotonin. You can see serotonin as the happiness. It's like dopamine, but it's spread out over a long period of time. And it's not a release that floods the body. It's a release that starts to happen over time. We want to at least get from dopamine to serotonin. And then, of course, if we look at oxytocin, we can go into that one all together, but we'll just kind of focus on these two because these are the two that are our happiness chemicals, right? And when we are manifesting, most of us are manifesting from one or the other. We're either manifesting from dopamine or we're manifesting from serotonin. Now, what we're going to do as we activate this DMT code is that we're going to activate the body holding a frequency of happiness, a frequency of freedom, so that your body is starting to recognize through a frequency and not a chemical. This is taking yourself from the chemical body to the advanced body. And anytime that we're bringing in an intention and we are going to bring it into the next stage of human evolution, let's say, the advanced human experience, we want to start manifesting through frequency, and that we're identifying in that frequency, but take it a step further, that frequency has intelligence. That frequency is these DMT codes that are in expression. And is all we have to do is attune our consciousness to it. What does attuning consciousness to a frequency mean? It means that just like when you're listening to, or maybe even better said, when you're tuning a guitar and you're trying to find a specific note, somebody that's really good at playing the guitar is going to know when they strum a C if it's in tuned or not, right? So when they're going to kind of do it over and over, and they're going to use the little things, and they're going to get to a place, and then all of a sudden they're going to hit the note, and they're going to say, oh, that's the note I'm looking for. We can do the same exact thing with our consciousness. We can ask for a frequency to be released through our DNA, and then we do the same thing with our consciousness. We attune to what that frequency is until all of a sudden we know it. That's what it's saying. And then you just move into the intelligence and you have the experience of the intelligence. So you may have to do some fine tuning in the beginning, but once you hit it, your body knows it. And it's not an emotion, it's a knowing. That is a great way of deciphering, am I manifesting through an emotion or am I manifesting through a feeling? A feeling is a knowing, and we all know what it feels like to hit that space where we're just like, your whole entire body says yes. That's where we want to be manifesting from all the time, Because when we manifest from that place, we don't second guess it. When things don't go the way we think it should in order to manifest it, we go back to this place of trust the intelligence. Trust the intelligence. This is where this is started from. It started in intelligence beyond my programming. And if I'm doubting it, that's on me. And I need to just tune back in and go back into the intelligence and surrender into it, because that intelligence knows so much more than my little pea brain. That intelligence knows so much more than my ego self. And if I can continue to surrender into that, life will become magical and I will manifest beyond my wildest dreams. And that's what I want to invite you all into now. So let's do this DMT activation. So what I'm going to be doing is we'll just attune just a little bit. And for those of you that are listening to this on a podcast, know you're going to be receiving the codes, whether you see them or not. But those of you that are watching it on the YouTube channel, you're going to be able to see the codes. I'm going to be holding them up. So the first thing I want to show you is the DMT accelerator. So this image right here is, you can see it like a soccer ball. It holds the evolution technology, and it holds the ability to put consciousness into expression, meaning allowing consciousness to be held beyond observation. You don't have to understand this. You're just going to be looking at this, knowing that you are in the center of this image. You are in the center of this technology. And once you are in the center of this technology, you're being held in a field that is holding you in a space beyond the observed mind. It's in a space beyond the matrix. It is in that 0 point, no space, no time. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be holding up a few cards to set the body into 0 point, and then bringing the cells of the body into expression. And then I'm going to bring in 3 different codes. I'm going to tell you right now, just gently hold your intention. And so if you want to, you can just bring your intention into your heart space. And that's enough. That's all we need. We don't need to do anything more than that. Okay, so let's have you all just continue to look at this image. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the 0 point symbol. So this symbol we're putting right into the accelerator. And I want you to see this symbol, and I want you to just bring it in to the pineal gland. The pineal gland is in the center of your brain. And as it enters your pineal gland, just allowing it to spin. And that's bringing all the cells of your body into no space, no time, or 0 point. And then we're going to bring in the second symbol, which is the DMT activator. This is bringing the cell into a state of consciousness in no space and no time. So just allowing this to move into the pineal gland and beginning to spin, bringing all the cells of your body into a conscious state, existing beyond space and time. And then we're going to bring that DMT frequency into an expression. You can see all of the cells of your body lighting up like the sun, shining an energy from out of the cells into your body. Your body is now holding the frequency pattern of expression. And now I'm going to bring in the first DMT code. Now, what I would like you to do is just bring your consciousness into the code. And just knowing that when you're doing that, because your body is being held in expression, that the codes of your DNA are now turning on. There's no beginning, There's no ending. There's no up and there's no down. The code is turning on and it's holding a frequency of an intelligence and it's connecting to your intention right now. I'm going to go ahead and take the second code. Go ahead and look at the second code, just allowing your consciousness to hold it. You may notice that your body is starting to feel some of those electric responses clicking together. You may feel some shifting in your physical brain. Just allowing yourself to have whatever experience is there. There's no right or wrong, just knowing that the codes and the technology are doing this for you. And now I'm going to pick the last code. Just allowing yourself to sit in this code for just a moment. And now we're going to do something really fun. What I would like you to do is take your consciousness and push it all the way down to the first code. And then feel all of the codes working together and activating within your body. Just feeling the intention. And now if you'd like to shut your eyes for just a moment, feeling your body fully activating. I'm going to go ahead and put these down. And that is the DMT activation through those were 3 of the 12 DMT codes. So I'd like to just really quickly, I'm going to just read the code just because it is kind of fun, especially since we had an intention with it. So the first symbol was the 5, which is ironically a freedom or change. The second code was the 9, the ability to hold consciousness. And you could say that this is that space of being able to be in the matrix, but you're holding consciousness at the highest level. So this is the person, you could see this as a reflection of the divine or the reflection of source intelligence. You're in the reflection of the intelligence you're becoming. And then the last code is the advanced DNA. So how would I read this? And of course, if we're putting them all on top of each other. So first I'll read it in a timeline, though this is bypassing timelines. The shift is already happening. So for those of you that are feeling with your intention that I have to wait for a sign or I have to wait for something to happen before I take action, this code is saying take action first. Then you will be shown exactly what you need to do or see. The information will come in at the highest level, which will activate the advanced form. And then in this case, yes, it's DNA, but this would be the advanced. So what this is saying is take action. The information will come and it will be better than anything that you could have possibly imagined. And that just gave me chills. So that is your code that you all can continue to plug in. And this will be recorded and put up on YouTube. So if you want to go back and experience that activation again, I invite you to do that. But for now, let's go ahead and let's open it up to questions, sharing your experience of that, anything that you would like you. And do you know that I can't see everybody? So if you're just putting your hand up on the camera, I'm not going to be able to see you. So you can just unmute yourself and speak, or you can hold your hand up in the chat as well. And this is the fun interaction part. So please do participate. If there's anything that you would like to share, it needs to be shared. That's part of this. The beautiful intelligence of the divine flowing through all of us is that in that reflection, we all grow. And Serena.
I just want to have a shout out to the process, because just in probably the last 2 weeks, I have been shifting momentously, if that's a word, into that full knowingness that if I just quiet all the static, that the divine is just running me. And it's just so profound. And, to really let go and know that my Google is working, my internal Google. I love that analogy. I have really embraced that of late. And every time I think of it, it works just in seconds. It's I've really stepped into my sovereignty. And this goes along with it, the whole freedom thing. I feel so free, just so divinely held.
I love it. It's that, I feel like what we're doing is we're taking what it means to live in that heart-centered space to a whole new level. For a long time, I almost had a resistance because it's been so overused, that place of sovereignty and, oh, be heart-centered and, oh, it's love. And because it had so much stickiness to it in the old paradigm. But now that we are fully stepping into this new place, it's taking that to a whole new level. There's just it's the field, right? The field that we keep talking about. You're either in the field or you're not. And what I mean is that field of frequency where there is no interruptions. There's no interference. We know it when we're in the field. And what's really cool about what you just said, Serena, is that so the way that I see being in the field, and this is when we really start to activate those DMT codes, and we're using our Google system and we're experiencing life in this space outside of programmed reality. We can do anything within the matrix. We can do anything within the programming, but we're not doing it in the programming. We're doing it in the field. And it's such a strange experience because you're like, well, before when I do that, I always felt that emotion, that chemical response, right? And then all of a sudden, you just feel that, I don't even know what word to put there, magic. You guys all pitch in. Let's put some words to this, because it's not emotion, right? It's a frequency. So it's one of those things where it is hard to put into words. So that magic, the miracle pattern, all of those things that we've played in before trying to describe it, one day we'll have a word for it. Go ahead, Serena.
It's really soft.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no chemical to it. I mean, it is strange at first, because for me, of course, I was really addicted to chemical responses. And so it's like so unique. And I'm getting beyond. I'm not all the way there, but most of the time it's like I'm not expecting this high and low thing anymore. But it's still I still notice and go, oh, this is so weird. This is so different. But it's good. It's good different.
Thank you for sharing. I hope everybody can feel the frequency that Serena is holding as she speaks, because that too is where I love about these codes, is it allows us to still speak in these linear spaces, but it's being held in no space, no time. It's being held beyond the linear words that we're holding. And that's a big part of the DMT codes. It's starting to allow us to move into consciousness where we're not creating a timeline. And we truly start to think through the symbols, because the symbols are an intelligence, right? And I kind of created this word of what it is to think as the intelligence, and it's telethought, though I know we're going to move past that word at some point. But it is a strange experience when you can still think, but you're not thinking in sentences. You're thinking through frequency, and it's very crisp and clean. And it is when you are in that space, you do actually experience that no space, no time. And I can say through my personal experience, you can get what would normally take hours done in minutes. And I am proving that right now. And I think I've always kind of been on the edge of being able to do that. But that's also what I want to invite you guys all into is, what are the possibilities when we start to activate these codes? Like, where am I limiting myself? Looking at where we limit ourselves, and then expanding beyond that limitation by inviting these intelligence, these codes in to activate us, and then allow our perspective to go as far as we can, knowing that that is even a limitation, but at least we can start to play in the field outside of what we're limiting ourselves to. Thank you, Serena. Does anybody else have a share or a question? If you want to have some reflection in your intention that you would like to bring into. Yes, let's go with Pamela. Oh, see, she said she meditated. Let me bring this up. Okay, I meditated, practiced yoga, walked miles to have this feeling before, and knew the field could be accessed. Oh, yes, it's so good. So yes. So we can talk a little bit more about that, but let's go to Stephanie, and I think it'll all come together.
Hey, oh my goodness. Yeah, I have been playing in this yumminess now for a few weeks, and I'm noticing my mind chatter is much quieter. There isn't as much, and I'm catching my looping patterns. And I sometimes it's all I can do to stay out of it. There was one way triggering until I could like play with the new cards that I learned how to use, and they helped tremendously. And also just the synchronicities that are coming through from the guidance that I'm receiving. Everything is feeling so much lighter and so much easier, and things are turning out way better than I could have planned with my mind, and it's just so exciting, and I'm just very grateful to be learning this technology and reprogramming myself, and it works amazingly quickly, faster than anything. And I mean, I have probably $200,000 in my belt of different modalities and studies and workshops. And this is by far the easiest and the fastest that I have found. So I'm just so grateful.
Yay. Thank you for that feedback. I'm going to invite everybody into that as well, is when we are in a space of kind of tapping into our intention and playing, if we're daydreaming or we're kind of letting it play out in our heads, bring yourself back into the field, that frequency. Go to your heart space if that's easiest. And what I want you to say to yourself is, this is what, like, again, this is what I can come up with now of the possibilities, but I'm going to release even that. And then even saying out loud, I'm inviting in whatever is next, knowing it's going to be beyond my wildest dreams. It's going to be beyond anything that I can imagine, because my imagination is only a step up from my programming. And I am inviting in an intelligence that is expanded beyond anything that I could even come up with. And then we're inviting that intelligence to totally take over. And we just like Stephanie said, it's just those little synchronicities, as all I have to do is the next right thing, the next right thing. And what I'm going to be getting is maybe these little tiny baby steps, but those baby steps are leading me into a space of pure magic that I can't even comprehend right now, because it's so beyond what I could come up with on my own. So thank you so much for sharing. Does
Oh,
anybody?
I'm sorry. I wanted to say I had been told before this and or something even better. And now this and or something even more delightful is my thing. Just what else is possible, and yeah. So thank you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Okay, so it says iPhone race, so I'm not sure who that is, but or is it Vic?
Oh, hi. Sorry, it's Nell.
No, hi Nell.
Hi. I had a question. So when I've been doing these, just staying in, listen and do, and had these really, and when I say amazing, it makes it seem like there's so much excitement, when I find that actually I don't have that much of big emotions at all anymore. But the question was about like the codes, because it seems like now once I notice the program, everything happens where I don't like have to bring the code in. It's like I can feel it just doing it. And that's when I'm starting to wonder, because I'm not 100% skilled, or I didn't take I haven't finished the class yet on Deck You Own Codes, but I feel like it's already doing it. Like as soon as I noticed the program, I used to start visualizing the DNA, and everything. And in fact, at first I was pulling in the light, and now I feel like the light's already in me. And then it started where I just, oh, this is a program. And then it was like zip. And then, so then I wondered, like, is it important then for me to take the time to do the codes when it feels like it already did it?
So when you're talking about codes, what's going to start happening is just what you're experiencing, is that you're going to notice where the hooking in is, right? So you're hooking in, and then you're going to notice just like in codes. Okay, you saw that, and then all of a sudden it's going to break up and move into random form and immediately start to turn on the code of the other way, right? The expression code. And then you're having the experience of starting to identify in frequency over your programming. So you're right where you need to be. Keep coding. That's what I'm going to say, is keep coding. So don't necessarily have to code in the moment, because it's working for you, right? All you're doing is witnessing now that your body is ready to turn on, it's ready to move into expression, and then you're consciously witnessing the shift from observation to expression, or moving from identifying and programming to identifying in frequency. Keep going with it. But what I would have you do is definitely don't stop coding, because the more that you code, the more that your body's going to know to stay in that space of expression. And then again, your consciousness is going to continue to have that experience. The next level, these DMT codes, yes, I would be working with the codes, because they're working on a level that hasn't been worked on before. It's taking coding even to the next level, and it's working with very specific frequencies, but it's also working with consciousness. So I have this saying is turn on the body and let consciousness catch up. Believe me, honey, you have no idea where you're going yet. You're having the experience and it's awesome, and you're feeling it, it's working, you're changing your life, but you are only scratching the surface of what you have the capability of becoming. So all I'm going to say is don't stop, don't limit yourself. Every time you think you know something, know that you don't. And that will keep you in a space where you are going to continue to expand, because if you are an observation of an intelligence, you're not there. That is what consciousness is for. It is a tool of becoming the intelligence. And if you're still in observation of that intelligence, you're not there. And there's nothing wrong with that. None of us are, right? But that's the process. That's where we're going. That's what we're experiencing. And so, yes, it's so nice when we get to these places and we're like, oh my gosh, it's working. And oh my gosh, I'm doing this. And oh my gosh, I'm so much better. All of those things are amazing. And we want to self-actualize in the frequencies that we're becoming, but we don't ever want to self-actualize for too long that we feel like we don't need to keep doing it. Because then what we're doing is we're actualizing in a frequency that's limiting. And then that's where, as far as we're going to go, we create that ceiling, and because we create an identity around what we think we know, and then we're missing out on all of the places that we're going. And so say, yes, thank you. I love where I am. I love this experience, but let's keep going. And the best way to do that is to keep coding, keep coding, keep coding, because each one of those codes is teaching your body to become the advanced human. And then you get to consciously experience what that is.
Thank
I
you.
hope that helps.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Anybody else have a share or a question? I think we're running. Yeah, we're just about out of time. Okay. Well, I will let you all. Oh, go ahead, Gabriella.
I was saying hello to Destine. Yeah, I just have a quick reflection in regards to what I experienced, and it was I've had a couple of days of chatty mind, very busy mind. And when Stephanie shared, it was exactly how I felt over this years of doing this. My mind has become so still. However, it's showing me up another busyness of something. And the moment we went into the process, or halfway through, I know that my mind had gone still again. And it's just it's a magical feeling when the mind is just simply still. And my intention for today's process was, again, my mind has so busy. Let's take the cards. I shuffled them, the I ams, and I see it said to connect with soul family. So I put that in. And as the codes came through, it's linking to what you said to Nell before. It's taken the aspect, or what he cleared out was on such a different level, or the consciousness that it brought into what the coding does has been on such a different level that my mind could have never worked it out. And I know and I trust that the codes are holding this new frequency or this new information in a place that will unfold beyond my wildest dreams.
What a great place to just sum all of this up. So let's all just play in that. Let's play in the possibilities, and then knowing that even what the possibilities are, that there's something beyond that, and it's going to be beyond our wildest dreams. And is all we have to do is just take the next right step, right? And that's going back to where I started this whole podcast is, where am I manifesting from? Where am I taking action from? Where am I choosing from? Am I choosing from the chemical body, or am I choosing through the intelligence? And even if you're not sure, ask. And that's what the great thing about doing these processes is, that we start to attune that guitar string so that our body knows, are we on the right note? Am I in the intelligence or am I not? And your body gets so fine-tuned that you know if you're there or not. And that's the first step. If we're aware of where we're manifesting from or where we're choosing from, we are way ahead of the game. And that doesn't mean that we have to know what the next right step is. It may just be hang out until the intelligence fully comes in and you are consciously attuned to it, so you know the right next step. Because if you don't know, it's a no. You don't take action. If you're not in the field, then you're not. It's either you're here or you're here, right? And if you're somewhere in between, that means you're not there. It's really easy. And that's what's so great about all of this, is that it doesn't make it hard. What the hard part is to get out of the way and let ourselves get to know who we are as the intelligence. And that's why we have these amazing tools, and that we have ways of actually tuning consciousness to the intelligence and knowing how to use it. It's a journey, and it's a wonderful space to be. And I'm just going to let you guys all play in this until we meet again. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sending you all so much love and a great big hug. And if you'd like to play with us more, definitely go to activateevolution.com, where we have lots of fun and easy ways to connect and play. Love you all.